Hello YouTube, it's Tevis from Pursuit of Eden. So one of the things with pursuing simplicity is being a little bit more self-reliant. And as you can see here, the hood is up on my wife's car because the alternator has died. So to save ourselves a little bit of money, I will be hopefully taking you through the process of taking this little guy out and replacing it. So I've been on YouTube, I've checked out a bunch of videos, and hopefully we'll be able to do this. This is a Hyundai Elantra. It's all the same between 2000 and 2006. So first steps, we have to I'm not going to do anything just yet because it's really hot, but I'll just explain it and then I'm going to get at it. But we unhook the overflow for the rad, and then we have to unplug the rad fan, and then there's two bolts to take out, and then the fan can come out. Oh, it looks like I might have to undo this one as well. Anyways, so that's oh, maybe there's 3 bolts. I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out here shortly. And from there, I'll have some room to get in and get going on this little adventure. So, anyways, I'm going to let it cool off, and I'll be back with you in a little bit. So I guess while I'm waiting, I'll explain here. I'm going to jack the car up and put it on these jack stands under the front axles so that I can access underneath, because there are a couple of bolts holding the alternator on from underneath, so I will need to do that. So that's going to be my next step, and I don't have a tripod or anything, so filming this is kind of going to be impossible, so sorry, but I'll do my best to explain it all as I go. Okay, so it's all jacked up. I've got the stands under it, it's blocked on the back wheels. Jack stands here, so I should have a little bit of room to get under there if I need to. And I've unhooked the overflow, and I've taken out the fan already. So there's the rad there. It's probably still fairly warm. Yeah, there's some radiant heat there. So what I can do is apparently there's a way to disconnect this guy. Oh, that's going to be a little tight. Nope, not going to be able to do it with one hand. Sorry guys. Anyways, unplug this guy right here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little better. Okay, so you unplug this, and then there's a cap right here, and the battery wire is right behind that, which is a 10mm bolt. So just undo both of those and get those out of the way. Once that's done, then the tensioner is, is right here. So you have to undo this, which is a 12mm bolt, and then take the entire tensioner off. And from there, that should loosen everything up. And then I got to get in there and get the other 2 bolts, the mounting bolts, off. Which I will check in when I'm ready to do that. See you in a bit. Okay, just a quick check back in. This one under the cap here is not a 10mm, it's a 12mm. And yeah, it loosens pretty easily. And that's still hot right there because that is the exhaust shroud. So I'm burning the top of my hand every time I touch it. So I'm going to put the camera down again. Another quick tip, if you have a bolt that's a little bit stubborn, just get yourself a little piece of pipe or something that you can slip right down over your ratchet, and it'll give you that extra force that you need to break them loose usually. Just a tip. Okay, so once you've got that tensioner off of there, it's pretty straightforward. It just kind of comes right out like so. Okay, and then there's one more bolt way down in underneath here, and It's right in there. So once you loosen that, then you can pop the belt off of the belt wheel there, and then you're pretty close to ready to pull it. So that's the tricky part. Apparently it's a tight fit. So I'll just get that other bolt off and then I'll explain. Okay, got that off. Turns out it's not a bolt, it was a nut. As you can see, there's still a bolt in there, which is a shaft that goes all the way through, and I'll show you on the new one here how that works. It's a forked system like this. So that bolt is through here all the way across, and what I have to do now is just apparently wiggle this quite a bit until it comes free. You probably can't see in there right now, but I'll show you once I get this out. There's a gap there where the shank of the bolt rests in, and it just allows this whole thing to pivot so that it can be tightened with the belt. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrestle with that and hopefully I'll get that out in a second. Another little word of caution here, and just a little trick. On here on the rad, there's this plastic top piece. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Okay, right here, there's a sharp little corner on here, and that's right where your arm is rubbing, and it's not real pleasant. So I'm just going to take a little piece of sandpaper and just get that burr off. Much better. There, that'll be more comfortable. Okay, got it out. That was quite a nightmare. Well, actually, you know what? It wasn't so bad. So, what I was talking about with that bolt is this is the bolt here, and it does come out, but not while it's down in there. And if you look, sorry, that's what it sits in right there. Okay, there we go. So, when you're pulling this thing out, it takes a little bit of work, but basically you have to pull it up and then turn the whole thing. Whoops, I'm going to lose the bolt. Turn the whole thing so that the plugs are out like so, and it is a tight fit to pull it out, but the plugs do need to be away from you, and it's a very tight fit right in through there. So just so that you know, that is how you get it out without having to tear your entire car apart. So now it's just all in reverse with the new one, and I don't think there's any way I'll be able to well, maybe I can show you getting this one back down in there. I just don't want to damage the rad, because those fins are very delicate. Okay, there we go. You saw how that slid down in there, and now I'll just have to turn it and get it into position. Okay, and the new one just slides right back down in place, and you can see here it's seated right back in there. You use the original bolt. This one happens to be a reconditioned one, and it doesn't come with that bolt, but it does come with the nut for the post for the battery wire. Okay, so I'm just going to get the lock wash. Okay, sorry, just ran out of memory there, so I'm back. Okay, so you just get the washer, the lock washer, and the nut back on down in here, and we'll just tighten that, but we won't cinch it right up. We'll just get it so that this can still pivot in here, because we still have to put the belt back on and the tensioner back on. Alright, so I'm just gonna get that one tightened up a little bit and get the belt on and go from there. Okay, got the belt back on here, Just be really careful. I kind of goofed up here, and there are 3 wheels that this belt wraps around, and I knocked it off, and there's not much room down in there to try and get it back on. So just word of caution to you to be careful not to knock that off. All right, so next step is to just try and pull the whole unit back down so that it tightens onto the belt, and then I can put the tensioner back on. So I won't shake the camera anymore. I'll get that part done and be right back. Okay, tensioner is back on, and now this bolt can be snugged right back up to as tight as you can get, and then from there, no, sorry, don't do that. We all make mistakes. Unsnug it. Before it is too tight, you have to tension the belt. So the idea is that when you press on the belt here, you should only get about 1/8 of an inch of play. And I'm getting quite a lot more than that right now. So I will have to adjust this right here until it's good and tight, and then I can tighten this bolt back down. And then I can tighten the back bolt back down because it's the pivot point. And then it's a matter of plugging everything back in and seeing how we did. Okay, hopefully I can just show you here. Okay, if you watch right here, as I turn the tensioner bolt, I don't know if that's in focus. There, that's in focus for sure. I don't know if you can see it sliding over back to the old position where the old one was. Just stop and check the... Yep, still too much play there. That is, that's getting there. A few more turns and I think we should have that. Let's see how that is. Well, we're getting there for sure. It's a quarter. They said 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch, so I'm just gonna err on the side of too tight. Perfect. Okay, now that that one's done, I can try and free the wrench here. Oh, I can't do it with one hand. Oh, maybe I can. I can. Okay, and now we can tighten this guy up. Good and tight. Excellent. And finally, this bottom one, which I can't see anymore. Gonna have to put it down. Sorry, guys. Okay, got those bolts in, and now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. So I will just need to take this nut off, and I'll set that aside for a second. So this you'll see here there's a cutout on this side. And on the back, so this can go right into that cutout, and then it sits nice and flush in there, nice and tight up against the whole body unit there. Okay, and the nut. Sorry, hands in the way. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, can't do this with one hand. Okay, got that back on. There. And now we just need to plug in the other piece here. And it clicked, so we're good to go there. All right, so now it's just a matter of putting the fan back in. And I've got it over here. This is really, really simple. So there's 2 little things on the bottom there. They just seat right down inside. I don't know if you can see them. Maybe not. anyways, it sits right back in there. And just needs a couple of bolts, and then I'll put the battery back in and plug it in, and we should be good to go.